I am what I call a visual engineer. It's basically a director, DP, cinematographer combined together with, mad scientist, engineer, technology lover, futurist, kind of all in one. I run a company based in New York City called The Garage. We're a production company that does TV commercials for people all over the world. It's really exciting what we do. It's all food and beverage and throwing food everywhere in slow motion, and we have crazy robots and all this kind of stuff. But yeah, I'm really excited to be here and to share our story about everything we got going on.
So Steve, as I mentioned, a lot of our audience, we have real estate agents, we have entrepreneurs, we have business people. And so, I would love to just chat about at the heart of it. I know you're an entrepreneur, so I would just love to hear your story, how you got into what you're doing and how you really got to where you are today. Because I know you didn't start out this way.
No, definitely did not start out this way. Yeah, so I studied advertising photography in college. I was that kid that always had a camera with them, and at every family event or every thing we did. So after school, I moved to New York City, and I just started apprenticing with other photographers because I was like, I need to learn the business. I understand I'm an artist, but at the end of the day, if I want to do this for money, it's a business. So that's the whole difference between being a master of your craft and a master of your business. They're two different things.
Hey, that's a
So
really good one,
luckily
by the
enough,
way. I'm gonna write
yeah,
that one down. That's a really good one.
yeah. I mean, there's even if you think about like the cobbler, he's really good at fixing shoes, but might not be good at running a shoe fixing business. So that's the big difference that I found in my industry is like you can't just be an artist, you have to be entrepreneurial businessman as well. So when I moved to New York City after working for other photographers, I started my own studio. I got really lucky, and early on, I started shooting for some big brands like Victoria's Secret and
Mm.
some food companies and some shoe companies and all sorts of different product-based stuff. And once again, I built it slowly. This is it was all bootstrapped. It was all one job paid for the next job, paid for the next thing that I needed, the next person I needed to hire. It's been a 18-year journey at this point. And obviously within that time, there's been ups and downs. But the most, the biggest change I had was about 5 years ago. I was like, I'm done with still photography, and I moved into video and what is now visual engineering. So that was a huge shift. I basically became a startup again, which is incredibly stressful and challenging. And but we went from having our worst year kind of in the last 10 years to having double our gross income the next year. So,
Wow.
like there was definitely this and then, whew, so, and right now we're on a really good path upwards, even with COVID, which has been a challenge because obviously, we do work that requires to get people together to create these commercials.
Sure.
But luckily we're really kind of nimble and small, and we could do a lot with a few people. And then now, yeah, and then going forward, as far as our journey, right now we're diversifying what we do a bit. So, traditionally I was just shooting, it was just me shooting content for brands. But now we're starting an educational company called The Garage Learning that will teach the art and science of what we do as a asynchronous online learning platform where we have a Kickstarter, as you mentioned right now. Then we're also launching a robot rentals company here in New York City also that will rent the cinema robots that we use. We're going to have it's probably about $1 million worth of these like amazing machines that
Wow.
other people can rent for other productions as well.
It's so cool, Steven. And your stuff, again, guys, I encourage you after the show, don't stop watching the show, but after the show, head over to, Steve's Instagram and you can see some of the very cool stuff that he. So, Steve, I want to just back up a little bit to something you said because, so when I coach real estate agents or entrepreneurs, I start exactly where you just started, which is like you really have two jobs. You might be a real estate agent and you think your job is selling homes, but really it isn't. Your main job is finding clients, and then running your business of real estate, right? So I just want to ask you, how did you learn that? I mean, did you learn that on your own? Did you have any mentors or coaches, or how did you really get to become a great entrepreneur and business person?
Yeah, no, I mean, I grew up. My dad, started his own company when he was about, my age. Actually, he kind of left his full time job and started his own engineering company. And once then I grew up around that, and I understood like he actually was really good about this with me and my brother, and he was just like, things are going to change. We got to tighten up. This is this is our budget, and he kind of broke down the realities of running his own business. But with that, I got to see that he was in control of what he did and what he made his business to be. So, I mean, obviously that helped me understand a little bit. But once I moved to New York and I started my own studio, obviously I made some mistakes along the way, but I definitely had some people that held my hand a little bit and were like trying to help me out. And I think that was, really nice about those, kind of apprenticeships. I worked with other people first to kind of understand and then, applied, my take on it. Because that's the thing. A lot of people are like, tell me how to do this thing. And there is no one right way to do these things. Like you have to trust your gut often as to what your next step should be. Should you spend your money on that new thing, on that new marketing campaign, on that, what is your message and what are you trying to accomplish? And, that's something that truly has to come from, I think, inside your gut. And I've just learned to trust it and believe in the path. And, a lot of people will also, I feel, turn around before they see things through. And it's just like, you just gotta, step blindly off that cliff sometimes and kind of put the time and money and effort into like something you believe in if you think it's going to grow your business.
Yeah, that's for sure. And as every entrepreneur knows, I think we go through our ups and downs and our successes and our failures. And you mentioned in the talk earlier that you guys kind of revamped what you did, and then you went through a down year. So walk me through that a little bit, because I think like I said, every entrepreneur goes through that. And so, as our budding entrepreneurs and agents and people are watching this, I think that would be interesting to kind of go a little deeper there.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, once again, I saw the writing on the wall. I felt as far as the business I was in was kind of going like this. More things were getting outsourced. More things were being done cheaper.
Right.
Once again, the revenue model wasn't looking like this to me. It was looking like this to me.
Yeah.
So I kind of saw that, and on top of that, I was kind of getting a little bored by what I was doing. I was like, oh, still photography, just once again, and I saw that coming. So I was like, well, how do I use everything I'm good at into a revamping of what I'm doing so far? How do I leverage the existing clients I have to move forward? These are all really big questions I was asking myself. And, I was like, hey, I'm not just a photographer. Like, I really love tinkering with stuff and making stuff and welding and woodworking and electronic circuits and, all these kinds of really crazy things. So I was like, okay, wait, how do I bring, photography and storytelling together with all the other things I was passionate about? So I thought that was really, really fun to be able to bring these things together in a really, really exciting way. But yeah, I mean, I think going back to entrepreneurship and trusting yourself, I think it really comes down to, just really kind of digging deep and like, what are you good at? What are you best at? What are you really excellent at? And really making sure that use that as part of your process.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And, obviously, congratulations to you for, reinventing yourself kind of, right as you went and seeing what was coming. I think as entrepreneurs, we got to do that all the time. I mean, as real estate agents, I will tell you, we have to reinvent ourselves all the time. I mean, the market changes. We have COVID, things happen. So
Right.
you constantly have to kind of evolve with what you're doing. So and I'd love to touch on the Kickstarter campaign, because I watched the video and I think it's super cool. I wanted to chat a little more about that. If you could tell us kind of what that's all about. And
Yeah, so we're really excited. On Tuesday of this week, we launched the Kickstarter. It's the Garage Learning. It's an online platform, and where we're going to teach people, from beginner all the way to advanced, how to make really cool videos. And beyond that, it's also teaching people very much in a STEM kind of education kind of realm, where it's like using science and technology, but then also art. So it's really STEAM is actually what they call it. We're going to expand the courses over time to have really fun things that you can do with your kids, where they'll learn something about electronics or physics or, fluid dynamics or, something really fun like that. But at the same time, they're like, oh, look, this really cool video I could put on TikTok or whatever. So it's kind of building around that reward system of like, you're learning something, but you're also getting something fun and cool you could share with your friends or your business if you're trying to do content for your real estate or whatever it is, like something that you could really apply to real world things as well.
Steve, last question for you really is just, before we let you go, and thank you so much for all your insight and knowledge into entrepreneurship and business. Question for you is really, what would you like to leave our audience with? Some parting words of wisdom from Steve on business or entrepreneurship or really anything else.
Awesome. Yeah. Happy to leave some parting words. Yeah. At the end of the day, I mean, one thing I've learned over the years that I've been running my own business is, believe in yourself, one, and follow your passion and let your passion be what you do. If you're not loving what you're doing, you don't, then do something else. I think too many people are scared of changing directions and like, oh, I don't know how to do that, or I don't know how to do that other thing. And it's like, no, but you could learn new things, if it's a thing that you really want to be doing. So for me, it's like, follow your passion, persevere, push forward, and let other people get out of the way. Because if you really want to do something, just go out and do it.
I think that's such a great thing to end on, and some great words of wisdom and advice. So, Steve, thank you so much for being on the show today. Really appreciate you and your time and for sharing all of this with our audience. Thanks so much, and good luck with everything you're doing. You guys, one more time, we're going to have all the links, everything down below. So check out Steve's Kickstarter campaign as well as his Instagram page where he's got some really cool shoots and stuff, and follow him there.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Danny, for having me. And thank you, everybody that watched. It was really great being here.
I hope you enjoyed that short segment of Danny V Live. The link to the full episode is down in the description below. You can also watch the live show every single week. Subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon so you get notified about all of our future videos. And follow me on Instagram where I post all kinds of cool stuff every single day. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you in the next video.